So the thing that really excites us is that in the last 2 years itself, right, since we started this journey on Popcorn, our clients have successfully generated leads that contributed to about 12 million sales revenue on LinkedIn. What are some of the strategies that we use and our students use that has actually helped us to actually get all of these results, especially on platform like LinkedIn? So whenever we work with our clients, right, we will actually track and monitor the progress of each and every one of our clients. On a monthly basis, what we do is that we actually collected hundreds of data from our clients each month to monitor their success and also look into some of the progress that they have in their LinkedIn strategy. And it's really exciting to know that there's about 50 million of potential revenue that could be closed this year itself, right? So if you take a look at the slides I have right now, these are just some of the information that I have on our WhatsApp group, right? On our Google form, whenever we have our interaction with them, we collected all of this data as evidence, not just as evidence, but also as a very important piece of information that will actually help us to be able to know if either what we are doing is working or not. So we are super excited because at the end of the day, 12 million sales revenue is a lot. And when we are working with all of these entrepreneurs, we notice that there is a pattern. And that's something that I want to really talk to you guys about tonight, right? We're going to talk about that pattern. We want to talk about what is it that our students are really doing that is getting them to actually get their results. I'm going to show you some of the examples of students that we have. This is Viv. Viv is a certified financial planner. She was actually getting inconsistent leads and sales and was earning less than 3K a month. She has basically exhausted her traditional leads generation activity, and she even contemplated of actually going back to doing office job. Then what happened was she decided to give herself one last final shot to basically grow and build her authority. She has practically zero knowledge in regards to building her authority online. And when she started working with us, she has actually attracted a steady flow of quality leads that is ready to be converted into sales. That's something that's really amazing. Last week itself, she just closed like another deal. We've only passed July, we just come into August. The year 2022 has not ended yet. And she has already crossed over 2 million in revenue. And that's 3 times the revenue that she got in the year 2022. She is also getting a lot of this consistent lead that's coming to her because of the early work that she did. Okay, so I'm going to talk about what is it that she do after this. Another person that I would like to share about this is Aiden. He's involved in payroll outsourcing. When he came to us, he actually attended another training program, but didn't actually get the results, right? And now, a little bit of context about Aiden is that he actually left employment to start his business and has actually had limited leads and knew that he actually have to build his authority on LinkedIn. Now, because his target audience was in LinkedIn, right, he decided to go all out on LinkedIn, and in less than 4 months, have actually managed to secure about 6 clients into his payroll outsourcing business, and that's a total of about 55,000 in revenue. Now, in the last 2 years itself, right, he has grown exponentially, right? He's getting like a lot of leads coming into him, and this is where he is today. Consistent lead coming in, and when he started, right, almost zero knowledge when it comes to actually positioning his authority on LinkedIn itself. So that's Aiden. This is Pure Puiman. Puiman provides construction software system, and when Puiman started working with us, she was actually at the brink of actually losing her startup business and was already rejected more than 200 times doing door-to-door sales, and certain institutions actually rejected her submission for grants. And again, after working with us for about 4 months, she closed her first contract worth 1 million through her authority building activities using her LinkedIn profile. Yeah. Now, high-profile clients who once rejected her are now reaching out to her wanting to subscribe to her service. Now, these are just some of the case studies that we have. In the last 2 years, we've actually helped about 200 clients to attract more than 50 million in leads opportunity, and also help about 100 plus over clients to generate leads that contribute to a total sales of about 12 million in sales. We found out that there are 3 reasons why all of this actually works for them. Reason number 1, what we realize is that the success of the students comes in because they duplicate the exact same process that we told them to do. And I will reveal that process to you guys later tonight. They are a good replicator. They are a good duplicator. This is something that is really interesting. We realize that a lot of entrepreneurs, when they came into us, some are actually resisting to actually follow the process because they're like, they feel that, I don't want to follow it. I have my own way to do it and all that. But the moment when they break through that and decided to just follow, okay, they managed to get all of these results. And we've worked with more than 200 clients in the last 2 years who duplicate the system that really works. For us personally, whenever we teach the program, it's not something that we just teach for the sake of teaching. We've actually applied it as well, because when we started this program about 2 years ago, we understand exactly how most entrepreneurs are suffering when it comes to lead generation, right? When it comes to positioning yourself on social media as well. So we consistently have been creating a lot of posts, creating a lot of content on LinkedIn itself. And when we started this aggressively in 2020, right, we do exactly the same thing. We generate content, we connect with people on LinkedIn, right? We do a lot of lead generation activity on LinkedIn as well. And because of that, it has actually contributed to our success in terms of building up our brand and also our authority on LinkedIn as well. In terms of presence, what we start to realize that the moment we become like really consistent in the way we create content, connecting with people, engaging with people on LinkedIn, right? We start to see results for our own company as well. Yeah. We are getting people coming to us, wanting us to speak in conferences, in events, not just in Malaysia, outside of Malaysia as well. We got free press and free media, right? From organizations like BFM, Bernama, Vulcan Post. We got like a whole page of presentation of a newspaper article from NST, Light FM. So all of this activity that we do consistently works tremendously well for our business. And not just in terms of being seen and being acknowledged as the industry expert. It also has contributed into our business success as well. Now, bear in mind that when we started this, we are a mere startup, okay? Just a startup company, right? And here's our results in the last 2 years for a startup company with zero funds, no grants, okay? No grants, no loans. Everything starts from scratch and doing all the authority building activity on LinkedIn in the year 2020 itself. Now, bear in mind, 2020 is the year of pandemic. Take a look at the numbers itself. January to March, right? Our numbers was up to about 36,000. Then from April to June to about 58,000. July to September went up to about 81,000. And October to December, we go up to about 103,000. And in October to December, we kind of like changed the way we do things as well, because of the whole entire year. What happened in the year 2020 is that we tested, we do a lot of other things as well. We become better in what we do. And then in the year 2021, it was exponential growth. Now notice the number. In 2020, it was 274,000 for us. And in 2021, it went out to about 789,000 for us, right? And in October and December, what happens is that we took a break, right? It's a festive season. And just like any entrepreneurship, right? You have to remember that there's always a flow. It's never a hockey stick, okay? So you always have an ups and down. But in December, it went down for a bit. But then after that, what we realized is that people know us. And because we have built that authority on LinkedIn, it has actually contributed a lot to the business. So the framework is very simple. Authority building actually makes business easy. Authority building can contribute to your leads. Authority building can contribute to the sales, and it can contribute tremendously to your business as well. So when we did this and we came up with a system, our students decided to copy exactly what we do. So when you copy, you don't reinvent the wheel. It makes your job so much easier, right? So don't reinvent it, guys, okay? So now going back to point number 2, okay? Another thing that also we realize, besides our client being able to duplicate the exact same process and they follow exactly rather than trying to reinvent the wheel, when they work with us, what works really well for them is that we actually go deep into their core issue that stops them from getting the results. Now, a lot of the times when people say that they wanted to build their authority on LinkedIn, and the goal that they have, what we realize that a lot of people, entrepreneurs that comes in, the biggest chunk of problem that they have is that they don't have enough sales, don't have enough leads, and so therefore the business doesn't grow. So when we ask deeper questions, we start to realize it's not just a lead issue, but it's more than that, right? Now, here's the thing about authority building on LinkedIn. A lot of times, what we realize is that when we work with entrepreneurs, a lot of the entrepreneurs only focus on the surface level problem. Okay, when we ask entrepreneurs, what are some of the issues that you have? our business is not growing. We're not getting enough lead. We're not getting enough sales and revenue, right? And we are not building our authority on any social media platform, right? So therefore, we are not getting all of the sales. So therefore, we are not growing. Yeah. Upon working with them for 14 weeks, we start to realize is that it's deeper than just a lead issue, a business growth issue, or a sales revenue issue. What we start to realize is that for a lot of entrepreneurs, the other problem they might have, it could be a niche and positioning issue. And we've encountered this a lot, right? Especially when you are in an industry where you have a lot of competitors, like financial planners, right? If you are a trainer and coach, right? Trainer and coach, I notice a lot of trainer and coach are having a lot of difficulties in trying to actually find a niche and a very, very interesting positioning for their business. So because they can't do that, right? And they are basically trying to compete with a lot of other people out there, yeah, and at the end they suffer. Okay, so one of the biggest problems that they could have, it could be because the positioning is not there. The second thing that we realize, yeah, is that some of the entrepreneurs that we work with might have a belief, a mindset that is limiting for them to be able to actually produce the results that they wanted. So it's not just a technical issue, it's a mindset issue. And I can give you a few examples of the kind of mindset that people have when it comes to authority building. One example that I notice a lot is imposter syndrome. A lot of entrepreneurs actually came to us and say, you know what, I'm too scared to actually put myself out there. I don't have anything to offer. So therefore, what can I post? What can I contribute to people? Yeah, that is something that we really need to help our clients to bust, because when you actually have that issue, right, it really does affect your performance. And it also demotivates you to actually go out there and actually wanting to make a difference to your business as well. People actually have this that stops them from building the authority on LinkedIn. Besides that, what else do we have? No clear strategy, no clear framework, no guidance in terms of how they can actually overcome all of that. The challenge that a lot of entrepreneurs have is that they know that they need to use social media like LinkedIn, YouTube, whatever that you choose, right? If you decided to go to any of this platform, you need to have a proper strategy to do it. And when we ask them if you actually have a content strategy, if you actually have a funnel, if you actually have a way on how to bring people from online to offline, right? And actually having a meeting with them, I would bet you that almost 90% of them would say no. When you don't have a proper framework, you start to put content out there or you start to connect with people and you don't follow a working strategy, and everything will not work for you as well. So having a strategy, framework, and guidance to support you in implementing that framework is really, really important. And we notice a lot of entrepreneurs do not have that when it comes to building authority on LinkedIn. Yeah. Another thing that we also realize is undeveloped skill. Copywriting, for example, right? Video creation, actually doing content on social media, on LinkedIn, is not something that we were taught in school. We basically consume it, but it's not something that we practice daily. So when you don't develop that skill and you try to do it without a proper guidance, then at the end of the day, you're not going to get the results. Social skill. People don't even know how to message people and connect with people genuinely, so that at the end of the day, they will be able to get their clients to want to have a conversation with them. And now, this is really important skill. People don't actually know how to do this. So there's a lot more, guys. Content skills. So there's a lot of things that's stopping people from getting all of these results. This is something that we feel that's really important, right? And it's stopping a lot of entrepreneurs from actually getting the results. And it's not just a surface level, it's a lead issue, but it's something more than that. Yeah. The last thing that we also realized that entrepreneurs are not doing is that they like to not work smart, okay? And they are not very consistent in how they do things, okay? So what we realize is that for a lot of the students that are getting the results, yeah, they work really smart. They schedule their work. They understand that being present on social media or being present on LinkedIn is something that they really need to do. So they find ways on how to put that process into their daily activity and are very consistent with what they do and how they show up. When you are not consistent, you are not going to get the results that you desire. At the end of the day, the most important part of it is consistency. You need to show up daily. You need to go out there, either to create content and connecting with people, right? And it doesn't have to be difficult, guys. It doesn't have to be done in such a way that you're taking hours of your time to do it, right? If you do it properly, it can be done in such a way that you can get the results fast. These are the three main reasons our students are getting the results because they are doing all of this. How many of you would want to know more about the framework? If you want to know more about the framework, right, the step-by-step process that our students are using right now so that they will be able to actually get the results that they wanted, right? They can get their leads and sales. Type framework in the chat because I'm going to go through the framework one by one. And once you know and understand what the framework is, then it will become clearer to you in terms of how we actually close clients on LinkedIn, especially if you are in the service-based industry. So type framework in the chat if you guys want to know the framework, and I will show you the step-by-step framework on how to do this. First thing first, you need to basically have a LinkedIn account. Now, I know that there's a lot of gurus out there that will actually tell you, you know what, you need to be in all platforms. I would agree with that statement if you already have a strong team to support you, you have the funds to basically get you to hire people to go into omni-channel. You can be in many platforms and channel as much as you want. But if you are just starting, we always recommend entrepreneurs to focus on one platform to start your journey. Being everywhere, then at the end of the day, you cannot focus, then it's going to be a recipe for disaster. Why is it that we decided to be on LinkedIn? One of the criteria for you to decide on a platform is to understand where your client is. If you are in the service-based industry, LinkedIn is one of those platforms that you want to be in. Why? Because there are about 800 plus over million professionals on LinkedIn right now, and almost about 6 million professionals from Malaysia. So that's a huge market, untapped market, where you can actually connect directly to decision makers. That is the reason why we decided to choose LinkedIn. Focus on one platform first until you have enough revenue that's being generated for you to be able to focus on another platform, right? Enough revenue, enough connections, enough follower. You already established a very good funnel on one platform, then you focus on the rest, right? Step number one, you need to start being active on LinkedIn. If you do not have an account, open it. Now, once you've done that, of course, next step, you need to have a profile. Now, it's not just about creating a profile, guys. One of the biggest mistakes that people do on LinkedIn is that they just create a profile for the sake of creating profile. You need to understand that when you are creating a profile, your LinkedIn profile is your landing page, it's your sales page, it's your name card, it's everything to do with you. It's your representation, it's your online representation of your identity. If you were to do any activity on LinkedIn, either you're creating content, you're connecting with people daily, right? You're engaging with content, right? You're creating your newsletter, whatever it is, people will always go back to your profile to check you out. If your profile itself is not fully optimized and it doesn't connect and speak to the audience and the clients that you're targeting, you are not going to close the deal, right? So we have like even some entrepreneurs that comes to us and say, you know what, I just want to learn about content and all that. But then after that, we look into the profile is crap. It's not designed specifically for the ideal client. You're not going to close the deal. And we emphasize this a lot to our students, to our clients. Make sure that your profile is actually speaking to your audience. It's speaking to your ideal client. So that when the clients go to your profile, they would want to know more about what you do. So make sure your profile is tip-top. We take profile seriously. A lot of people underestimated the work that you need to do before the profile needs to be created. So what is it that we do before you create your profile? You need to identify who your ideal client is, right? What's your voice like, right? What's your brand like? All of those are the pre-work that you need to do. All of this pre-work is, if it's not done clearly, you will not be able to communicate that to your profile. Remember this again, make sure your profile is tip-top, right? Now my profile is up and ready, right? How do I get client? How do I actually get connected to the client? How do I actually start getting people to know more about my work? You need to have the audience, right? Something that we always encourage people to do on LinkedIn is to actually do a daily client acquisition, connection, and engagement. Now, this is a very important process, guys. A lot of people actually neglected this because they use content as a safe way for them to avoid connections. You cannot just get leads by hoping for people to watch your content and then they will buy your product. Not going to work. You need to build your network and start connecting and engaging with them so that they will feel that, hey, you have some value. I want to watch what you're doing. The first 1,000 connection for me is one of the most important connections that you need to build. It matters because if you do this right, then your content formula and the rest of the other things that will happen after that, it will come in easy for you. So a little bit of side hustle of actually connecting with people daily, connecting, engaging, sending message across, not spamming, guys. One of the biggest problems that people have when it comes to the framework is that they don't understand this framework and then they start spamming people and just getting people to run away from them. If you are spamming people and interrupting people's life, you are not going to get that good connection that want to connect with you. As you are connecting on a daily basis, what else you need to do is for you to start creating content consistently. Now, notice the word I'm using right now. Yeah, I didn't say create content daily. I said create content consistently. And both of these strategies needs to run hand in hand. When you're connecting, you're creating content. Okay. I always encourage for you to do baby steps. What do I mean by baby steps? A lot of entrepreneurs, you have to remember this. You guys are busy guys. Most entrepreneurs are busy people. So when you guys are busy, what you want to do is you want to start working smart, right? If you can't do 5 content per week, do 4. If you can't do 4 content per week, do 3. If you can't do 3, do a minimum of 2. 2 content per week, at least. And it needs to be planned strategically, not just posting something randomly and hoping for people to come in and also buy product as well. There's a way to do it. What we realize is that a lot of people in the beginning, when they come to the program, they do not have an actual content strategy in terms of how to post in such a way that you can actually get the results fast. And it needs to be done in a very smart way. And if you do this right, what happens is that when you go to the next step where you actually create lead generation activity to attract people to want to connect with you or buy from you, it makes it easier. Here's the thing, guys. When you are trying to sell online, almost 70% of the work that you do is all on nurturing. 70 to 80% of the work that you do is all about nurturing, getting people to know you, getting people to understand who you are. Basically, you spend most of your time in the authority building segment. How do you do that? Through the content, to engaging to people, meeting out with people, right? Connecting with people on a daily basis. If you done this right, just the content and the daily connection, you do this really right, by the time you come up with a lead generation activity, most of your clients are already 50% sold with the idea of buying the product from you. That's the game that you want to play. You want them to come to you in a meeting, already feeling comfortable, already feeling like, hey, you know what? I really want to buy from you. I just want to get some questions to be answered, right? But at the end of the day, I'm already 50%. 1 foot is already in. So what are lead generation activity that I can basically give to you guys as an example? You can come up with a lead gen activity where you provide an ebook or you provide some value to people where you give them a training video, for example. And in exchange for that, they will give you their number, and then you can actually move the conversation after that through messaging. Once you've done your lead generation activity, the next thing that you need to do is for you to be able to pivot and have a good conversation. This is where a lot of entrepreneurs struggle big time. People usually get scared after the introduction, the second message, the third message, and then after that they get quiet. Okay. One of the biggest problems that a lot of people have when it comes to messaging is that they do not know how to move conversation from one conversation to the second one, to the third one, to the fourth one, at the end of the day, getting them to be invited for a meeting with you. There's a secret on how to do this. If you understand the secret on how to pivot and be in flow when you are in conversation, it makes your life so much easier. This is where the secret in terms of converting actually happens, on how to actually move people from online to having a meeting with you and you can actually close them. For us in POPCON, we actually teach our students to be able to converse in such a way that you can actually move the conversation to a action plan call. What is an action plan call? An action plan call is where the clients have already agreed, you know what? I like what you're doing. I kind of like the product that you're doing, the service that you have. I want to know more about it. I want to sit down with you and talk about it. So the action plan call is something that we actually do to further qualify and also to further make sure that the people that we are meeting with are really the client that we want to close. By the time we have that conversation on the phone, and usually when we do the action plan call, it's usually just about 10 minutes just to make sure that they are the right people that we want to spend our energy on. It makes our qualifying process even more efficient and effective. Because by the time they are actually having our Zoom meeting or when we're having our strategy meeting, so we call it in POPCON, we call it strategy meeting, and most of the time we do it on Zoom. Yeah. By the time they come into this session, they are already half sold to your product. Now, the strategy call can come in many ways. For coaches and trainers, if you are in B2B, for example, it might not be a Zoom call. It could be a presentation at the office. So all of these are some of the things that we actually teach our students on how to do. Not just about building your profile, but it's about building a funnel from A to Z. Finally, once the strategy call is done, the next thing that we will actually get them to do during the call is to close them. Getting them to close, confirm, right? And getting them to also commit to the program or to whatever that we are sending to them. So those are the framework, guys. For a lot of students that are actually following this framework, they focus a lot on improving each of those steps. The chances for them to close bigger clients, higher value clients, it becomes better and better and better. So it always starts with you choosing to be on LinkedIn, build your profile, daily connections, content, lead generation activity. From there, move it to conversation, then having an action plan call, strategy call, and then after that, moving them to close. Those are the main framework that has actually helped our students to close 12 million revenue in the last 2 years. Quick check. I just want to do a quick check with everyone. Let us know what are some of the biggest lessons and learning that you got from tonight's session. So again, what we actually do in POPCON is that we actually help individuals like you, entrepreneurs, to basically build your authority on LinkedIn so that you'll be able to generate more leads and also contribute to your sales revenue as well. Those who are getting tired of not getting any leads, any sales from your LinkedIn activity, I would like to invite you to have a one-on-one call with me if you are interested to know more about how you can implement this framework into your business. Okay, let's have a one-on-one conversation in terms of how we can help and support you in implementing this framework into your business.